Meeting come to order. Roll call, please.
Judge Deskins.
Here.
Master Anderson.
Here.
Master Johnson. Master Murphy.
Here.
Master Robinson.
Here.
Master Dotson.
Here.
Master Barney.
Yes, here.
Leo, would you lead us in the pledge? Approval of the minutes of June the 21st, 2016. Need a second.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Master Anderson.
Yes.
Master Johnson. Master Murphy.
Yes.
Master Robinson.
Yes.
Master Dotson.
Yes.
Master Barney.
Yes.
Judge Deskins.
Oh, okay. Back to that come later. All right. Approval and discussion, adoption of a resolution supporting the 2016 KOHS grant for Millard Fire and Rescue Department dive team sonar equipment project and authorization to execute all related documents. I need a motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Master Anderson.
Yes.
Master Johnson.
Yes.
Master Murphy.
Yes.
Master Robinson.
Yes.
Master Dotson.
Yes.
Master Barney.
Yes.
Judge Deskins.
Yes. Approval to extend family health care coverage for Pike County Fiscal Court employees for 60 days beyond June the 30th, 2016.
Guys, Kelly Harden's here. If you'd like to get up, Kelly, and address this to the court.
Thank you. Now, I know there's been discussion about whether or not to extend the paying for the family health care for another 60 days. As you well know, the discussion is about going to employee only, paying for employee only, and then the family members, if they wanted to stay on, would have to pay for that. Now, the question is whether you want to do it starting 7/1, which we can do, and it'll be effective tomorrow. If you extend it, though, if you want to extend it at all, you must extend it 60 days. The law says that any changes after open enrollment, you must give a 60-day notice to the employees, and this would be a change. So you have two choices really here. You can make the change tonight, which makes it effective tomorrow, or you can make the change in 60 days. If you try to do it shorter than 60 days, we won't meet that 60-day notice. That has to go out. So that's the reason we're looking at either tonight or 60 days. We can't do 30 days just because the law won't allow it.
And what cost will that be, Jonda, for 60 days?
Between 100 and 200,000. Well, probably 200 to 225 because with the layoff of employees, they wouldn't be coverage come July and August anyway, so I'm not sure what that will drop our insurance rate to.
Does 240,000 sound right?
It could be based on what we have currently because the bill I sent out for June yesterday, overnight it to help Anthem was $221,000 for what we currently had employed. So going forward, it's going to drop it to below 200,000. So anywhere from 200 to 225,000 in 2 months.
All right. I need a motion.
The money's not budgeted, but I guess I'm trying to help me and Kelly to be able to give our employees an informed decision of what path to take and where to go to find insurance, and not be under the gun trying to get people covered and cutting people off as of in the morning and getting COBRA notices out and things of that nature of what the employees have available to them. I was just trying to get them educated more on what is available, and it's not as bad as it seems by us dropping to a single plan for the majority of the employees here.
I came in last week and met with a number of employees, and we talked about options, whether it be Medicaid or it would be individual coverage with a subsidy through the exchange, or whether it would be going to a spouse's coverage they may already have at their place of work. And so as we sat down and I was able to meet with several employees one-on-one, and in almost every situation we were finding a solution that was workable for them. The issue, I think, is just that, you know, if we make the change tonight, it's going to be tough. Basically, I'll be back next week with the team, but their coverage will effectively end, it'll end tonight at midnight. Now, they will have the right to pick up COBRA, so they'll have a 63-day option in which to pick up COBRA, which basically means that they could pay for that coverage retroactively for 63 days. So in 62 days, I decide I want to keep that coverage. I can elect COBRA. I'm paying the full rate, what the full rate is, but it would go retroactive all the way back to July 1st. So there's a 63-day window in which you can ride the COBRA notices, which if you execute that, you pay the premium and it goes retroactive back to 7/1. So you know, employees would need to look at that COBRA extension if you make action to not take action tonight, and then clearly we'll need to be back next week. Now, for Medicaid, they can at any time apply for that, and there's several I advise to go ahead and take that action. One of the issues we're going to run into is whether or not the exchange is going to let them come on 7/1 retroactively, because they could start making the calls tomorrow, but typically you have to have everything in the 15th of the month prior. So really, they would have needed started this by June 15th to have a July 1 effective. I'm afraid that if they go out now, it's going to be an 8/1 effective instead of a 7/1. Now we can push, you know, they'll have to push because it's nothing, this will be individual, won't be group, but I would encourage them to push to try to get a retroactive date, but there's no promise on that.
Kelly, did you say you would be here Tuesday?
Well,
Or Wednesday to start signing people up for different insurances?
I'll have to clear my calendar and get a team in here, and we'll need to bring 4 or 5 people because it's going to be, with the number of employees you have, they're going to need help. So I'll be clearing calendars next week and getting teams in if you decide to take that action tonight. If you decided to extend it for 60 days, then my plan was to come in somewhere towards the end of July and begin to work with them, and then that'd give them plenty of time then for a 9/1 effective to take action. So depending on the court's pleasure tonight is whether we try to be here immediately next week or we wait toward the end of July. So.
Kelly, did I hear you correctly when you said that we had 63 days to
Pick up
pick up
Yeah,
COBRA?
individuals.
So within 63 days from tomorrow,
Right.
they'd have to pick it
But
up?
it's actually 63 days from the time they get their COBRA notice. So
gotcha.
if they don't get their COBRA notice till, say, the end of next week, that's when that ticker starts. So they do have a time period in which they could take it if they needed it.
Well, I reckon at this point, we need to know what the pleasure of the court is. Do we extend it 60 days, or do we make it effective tonight?
John, do you think if do we have the money to extend it, or we'll have the money?
I'm hoping and praying, but that's all I've lived on for the last year.
Jeff, we've got several senior citizens out here that just got notice yesterday that today was their last day because we don't have funding to keep them going. And, you know, if we extend this insurance, is it $220 a month, Jonda, or is that for 2 months?
That's for 2 months.
You know, I don't want to see anybody's insurance go bad, but can we justify letting them people leave their senior citizen centers for a 2 months extension?
Well, you know, I think that's kind of the problem we've run into with the insurance. I was up here last week, and I think some of the employees thought that they were going to have the coverage, and, you know, I'm not blaming anybody, but I think that was part of the problem. And then they were told, well, you may not have coverage. And maybe I didn't even know about the senior citizens centers until just 15 minutes ago.
When I was meeting with the employees, I told them that both were on the table. We had no clue, you know, that you need to be thinking about those both ways. So they were aware, but we were hoping for the extension to give them more time.
Right.
And I think a lot of them were planning on that, to be honest with you.
Well, what I see and what I believe, approval to extend family health and care coverage for the Pike County Fiscal Court employees for 60 days beyond June the 30th, 2016. I believe that's the best solution.
Is that your motion, Judge?
Judge,
Motion.
before you make the motion, you know, we as a court need to take responsibilities for this. You know, we knew it was coming. We knew we were going to have to take the family plan away. And we should have been working on this before. And, you know,
Amen.
it's not a political thing because the employees knew that we are running short on money. And we had to lay off a bunch of people because we didn't have money to pay them. And now they say we do have money. So I don't know if we got it or we don't have it.
I'm not saying we've got money. No.
Well,
I
okay.
said if we get any extra, it will be earmarked to cover this for 2 months.
But you don't have the money right now.
I have brought insurance and I have done everything I can. Me and Brian have tried for 3 months to get this done and not put us here on the last hour.
I said this is the court's problem. I didn't say it's your problem. And you said we didn't have the money.
I feel like it makes it my problem because we have tried so hard to work with this court and get you all to make decisions and get Kelly to bring us stuff. And it's always, let's wait and see, let's wait and see. And then we get put under the gun. And I don't like treating people like this.
That's right. I don't either. I don't like kicking the can down the road either. We don't have money to buy something. Hopefully he'll come in, but it's not there yet, and we're buying something that we don't have money to pay for.
But we can figure out ways to get that done, Hillman. And I'm gonna make this approval to extend family health care and coverage for Pike County Fiscal Court employees for 60 days beyond June the 30th, 2016. I make the motion. I need a second.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
I don't really know. I mean, it's a heck of a thing. I mean, it's hate to see anybody lose their insurance, but we got bills we got to pay.
Chick, let me, Chick, if you want to think about it, I think I'm kind of curious about the senior citizen centers as well. I didn't know anything about that.
I didn't know nothing about it either.
And I understand Hillman's, he's made a valid point, a good point, and I think we need to make sure, no matter how this health insurance vote goes, that we don't end up knowing things at, the last minute, and it's nobody's, maybe there's enough blame for everybody to go around. But anyway, I'm not trying to blame any particular person, but I didn't know, and maybe Hilma can tell us, or I don't know if Diane's here, what happened to the senior citizens, because I'm kind of curious to know why they were shut down.
I don't know either, Jeff. I got a call yesterday evening that today would be their last day. She didn't let anybody know anything about it, to my knowledge. They had a meeting yesterday, unannounced from what I can find out, and the board voted unanimously to close the centers down. And, I can't vote for something that I know we don't have the money to pay it.
Well, now, we're not going to shut the centers, the two centers, senior citizen centers down. No.
Judge, we're in the middle of a roll call, and the last I heard, you'd called on Magistrate Johnson, and he's not voted yet. Have you, Chick?
Hell, I don't know what to do.
Well, is that a pass?
It's for the best
It's a
for
whole
the
lot of money.
employees. It's the best for the employees.
You can vote yes, no, or pass.
If it's best for the employees, I'll
Yeah.
vote for it.
All right.
Mr. Murphy?
No.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
Mr. Dotson?
No, and I hope you guys can find the money to pay it. Don't blame us.
Mr. Barney?
No.
And Judge Deskins?
What do we got?
Yes, sir. You're voting
It will
yes on
fail.
your motion.
Do I have 3 votes? Yes.
It'll
Ask the
fail.
big one.
Judge,
Ask John Tuck.
Judge, it's tied 3-3
Is it 3-3?
for votes, yes.
Well, I'm gonna make the vote to do it.
It breaks it.
Okay.
That gives you the vote.
Yes, thing to do. All right, that's been done. Now, let's go back to the,
We got one other issue with the insurance we need to agree on.
okay,
The approval to offer it to spouses or decline to offer it to spouses.
Kelly, if you don't care, please explain why this court should vote not to extend it to spouses.
Yeah, the question is whether or not you would want to continue to offer spouse coverage now that you extended it 60 days. At the end of that 60-day period, would you want to continue to offer spouse coverage? Now, the law says you must offer children. Dependents is what they call it. So you don't have a choice. Children must be offered, but spouses, it's up to the employer. The recommendation that I've made is not to offer spouse coverage because of some strange laws in healthcare reform. Those that qualify and can get Medicaid, it has no effect on. However, those that are above Medicaid level, that don't have coverage available at work, or maybe at a place of work, they'll go get an individual policy through something called Connect or the exchange. That individual policy has the ability to get a subsidy to help them pay for it. Now, the law reads this way, and it's very odd. It says that if a spouse has access to coverage, it doesn't talk about the cost. It could be $3,000 a month. The law says if a spouse has access to coverage, they cannot qualify for a subsidy. So when you offer the coverage here for spouses, even if we don't have a single spouse take it, every spouse then at that point is not qualified for a potential subsidy to help pay for that individual coverage. So as in talking to about 75 employees last week, we had a number that were Medicaid eligible. We had a number that their spouses worked and could get coverage. We had a number of them that the spouses did not work or worked and didn't have a coverage available where they worked. Those are the spouses that could go to the exchange, get an individual policy, and get a subsidy if we don't offer spousal coverage here. So my recommendation to the court is to not offer spouse coverage effective 9/1 so that we can free these spouses up to potentially get a subsidy to help offset the cost of that individual policy.
Everybody understand that, what he said?
So basically if we offer it to them, we're penalizing them, really.
Correct.
If you offer it, you're blocking them from any potential subsidies whatsoever.
So I think the right thing for us to do is not to offer it then.
That's my recommendation, because that's my belief as well. Now, if there's a particular spouse that would like to keep that insurance for some reason, they're going to have COBRA notices that'll go out. They can opt to keep that insurance at the same price for 18 months. So it's not that they couldn't get it, they just won't be able to it won't be officially part of the coverage. It would be through COBRA notices, their right to keep it for 18 months. But as a fiscal court, we would no longer offer spousal coverage, which then frees them up for that subsidy. But the long and short is exactly, if we offer it, there's going to be people out here that's going to get penalized for that. They're not going to get some help that they really need.
When you get here, Judge.
And if anybody's spouse is over, or 65 or over, they should go sign up for Medicare.
Exactly.
And add insurance supplement to Medicare is cheaper
It'll
than
be
what
much
we
cheaper.
would be paying for a spouse added to our coverage.
It'll probably be half as expensive and be better coverage. So if you're over 65 spouse, go get your Medicare, which you've already signed up for. Just go find a nice subsidy, a nice supplemental policy. Probably cost you half of what the coverage is here, and probably, it'll be better coverage than what you have today. So those over 65 have a great option outside. Those under 65 are the ones that we're really focusing on, and specifically those that that are above Medicaid and don't have coverage available through their place of work.
And if they're disabled and have Medicare, they could get a Medicare supplement.
If they're disabled, they can't. They would have to take the COBRA.
Okay.
Because if you're disabled, you don't have an open enrollment until you turn 65 that has no medical questions.
Okay.
I know what I should have done. I should have stayed at home because my wife done this for 20 years up at Pike County Board of Education. She's over all the insurance up there with Blue Cross Blue Shield, all that bunch. I should have sent her down here and bring me a come in.
I've already
Kelly,
talked to
will you
Peggy.
and
She needs her letter
will
when
you be
this ends.
in touch with the employees, or will we be putting things in the payroll?
We'll be putting stuff in the payroll. Kelly will be here July 28th and 29th to do enrollment, to go single for all the county employees. There'll be some who has spouses who had declined coverage, who will add coverage to be a single. And anybody who starts withholding, this gives us time also to withhold out of people's paychecks, because as it is right, would have been now, July and August would have been due for the full amount out of their paycheck. So this way, by August, we can start holding out for September, because we have to have it a month and ahead of time. So these are things that helps me and Frankie with getting things more coordinated of what we're paying for and not paying for, and not putting a burden on the employees with it also if they choose to stay with us and pay for it.
John, I've got this one. Approval to offer health care for spouses, not to
I'm gonna
offer
vote
health
yes.
care to the spouses of Pike County Fiscal Court employees. Need a motion.
So do we need to vote? Do we need to vote to not offer it?
To not offer.
I make a motion that we do not offer.
Can I suggest that you put an effective date in there, beginning, and I would say beginning 9/1, since we're going to extend.
Since we're extending that.
Second.
I make a motion then that we not extend the family health care coverage for the Pike County Fiscal Court employees.
Spouses.
9/1.
Spouses.
Spouses, I'm sorry.
What's that need?
Effective 9/1/16.
Only, John.
I'll second it.
Roll call, please.
Magistrate, did we have a second?
Yeah, I did.
Who?
Me.
Okay. Magistrate Anderson,
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson,
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy, Magistrate Robinson, Magistrate Dodson,
Yes.
Magistrate Barney,
Yes.
Judge Deskins.
Yes.
Judge, if I may, Kelly, just a point of clarification on this extension issue. To comply with the law, we have to give that 60-day notice, so that notice ought to go out tomorrow.
That's correct. And I've got the notice prepared, and I'll have it to Jonda in her email in the first thing in the morning.
Thank you.
Can we load that on the website and could that be noticed to them just to go to this website, or do we have to physically send something to them?
I don't know the answer. I'll look that up tonight, but I
Okay.
certainly would put it on the website. And then also you're going to need to put a letter that says, you need to put on letterhead, effective 9/1, we're no longer going to offer spousal coverage. That way they can go ahead and use that to begin making any changes at their other employers.
Okay.
Will they have an explanation what their options are in that letter as well?
The notice will not, but last week I had some materials, and we can form a letter that says, here's the different options. We can certainly form that letter and send it out as well. The notice is a legal form, and so we're just going to fill out the legal form so we met the needs of the law. But then we can certainly write a secondary letter that says, effective 10/9/1, here are the different areas. We'll be here on this date to advise you and help you. If you need help prior to that, give us a call, that kind of.
Okay, thanks.
Well, I see why my wife used to come home when I say something to her, she wanted to pull my hair out. I don't see how she knowed all that stuff about this. I don't know about it.
Dexter's getting baptism by fire.
Next on the agenda, authorization to execute a permanent easement and license agreement with the city of Pikeville and administrative officer of the court's AOC for property judicial plaza at the Pike County Hall of Justice Judicial Building. I need John Doe.
Judge, what this is something we've already authorized. It got put on the agenda that way. I just wanted to inform the court that we finally got back the agreeable draft of this agreement that initially circulated almost a year ago, and remind the court of the county's, and by the way, the judicial plaza will be as you go down Division Street over toward the new judicial center. The city is undertaking, and various other parties are undertaking, to put concrete pads, landscaping, and all that in there. Going to be extremely nice. We've got drawings of that. It'll be a very attractive addition to the city of Pikeville, and it'll be very nice for those people who have to come into town to go to court and this, that, and the other. But just wanted to remind the court that what our part of the agreement was, that we have to haul, and I believe it says haul, place, and spread quality topsoil within this plaza area. I understood when we initially talked about this that we had that kind of topsoil over on Scott's Fort property. I hope that we do. I don't know where else we would find it, but and then when we do that, we have to plant grass seed on that topsoil. So that's what the court's already authorized it, and if court wants to move forward with it, then there you are. You don't need to take any action unless you want to stop it, and I hope you wouldn't do that.
I need a motion for approval of the easement and agreement.
Judge, we've already approved the execution. I just wanted to bring the court up to date on it. This was an informational matter. It took AOC months and months and months to amend a little old 3-page agreement. Lawyers.
Did the lawyers get all the money?
So, well, no action is needed unless we want to disapprove, right?
Yeah, if you want to change your mind back up, and I certainly hope you won't. It's a great thing, and we work closely with the city, with the Main Street program, with the circuit judges, and it's going to be a very beautiful and a good area to relax. Go out and eat your lunch if you brought a brown bag, and so anyway, you don't need any further action, Judge. We can move along if you're so inclined.
Thank you, John. Discussion and resolution of the Elk Run Golf Course. John, Doug, or Brian, address this.
Well, what this is Mr. Patton come in last meeting and addressed the court on taking over the golf course. Just want to remind the court that, you know, the lease payments, $33,000 annually, has to still be paid regardless to if you do this lease or not with Mr. Patton. Mr. Patton's asking for a $25,000 annual supplement each year and keeping Brian Johnson on as an employee at the golf course. What this means to the county is if you go in this contract with Mr. Patton is the golf course stays open, and I think we supplemented at $270,000 last year. What you'd be supplemented this year is just $70,000.
Is that including Brian's salary?
Yeah, that's what the $70,000 is Brian's salary, and the $25,000 supplement to Mr. Patton. Now, the $33,000 annual leases has to be paid if it's a golf course or if it's not a golf course.
Let me, if I may, Judge, just add one thing to that. We talked about it the last time. There is a building over there, a very nice building. That building was paid for by taxpayers' money. Severance tax, but nevertheless taxpayers' money. It's a $250,000 building. And in thinking about this today, I just felt like I needed to remind the court it does have a duty to protect county assets. That's why we get insurance and so forth. So if you don't, if you're not inclined to keep it open, very quickly it's going to have to be addressed, in my opinion, Brian, and you correct me if I'm wrong, what to do about security on that building, because every one of you know how it is. If you leave a building vacant, there's no close neighbors, and I'd say it'd be a great target for vandalism.
John, that's the same deal we got over at Freeburn Senior Citizen Center. That's the same deal. We've got a almost $700,000 building sitting over there, and it's going to be idle as tonight. Well, that's the way it is. They done closed it down. You know, that's what I was trying to tell the court.
Jim,
Jim, if you don't care, come up and
But
address.
since we got plenty of money now, I didn't know we had all this money. Let's just keep going and hire all these people we laid off last week, bring them back.
are you ready to step in?
Yes. Yes, and I do understand the layoffs and that the tragedy of that, and it's no laughing matter. It's very serious. For the first time in 29 years, I had to lay off people in my own company because of coal business and the things of that nature, and it broke my heart. But the fact of the matter is, the dollars and cents of it is the $75,000, which is outside the lease payments, the $75,000, which is Mr. Johnson's salary, and $25,000 to supplement the golf course. That doesn't go to me; it goes into the golf course. That money, if you look at it in full-time employees, that's about 1.5 full-time employees. So if you took that money and hired 1.5 employees, you're still losing a county employee in Brian Johnson. So you have a net gain of a half of an employee, half of their salary, half of their cost. And on the balance side of that, we had $250,000 in coal severance money, plus $40,000 in private funding, plus it was built on top of an existing building, which was probably a $50,000 building. So the actual value and actual investment just in that building is probably closer to $400,000, which I understand, but that's just the accurate, accounting of that building. And, not to mention the golf course itself that the county has spent over the years, 26, 27 years, millions of dollars, and mostly in assets of employee assets and providing jobs for employees over there that were county employees. And, there's a tremendous investment been made. And when you look at it, your choice is, kind of close it down, then pay the cost to secure it and all this, that, and the other, versus a net gain of 1/2 of one employee. And that's a pretty uneven balance, in my eyes. And you guys have the hard job of having to make that decision. It'd be my privilege to help out and try to make it something that we could all be proud of. And if not, like I told you before, there'll be no hard feelings. God bless you.
Thank you, Jim.
Well,
See if you can.
all right. Well, we need a motion to keep it open and a second, and I think it's worthwhile because he's taking some risks to keep it running. And then if it doesn't, then we close it down, and that's what we'll do. But I think we have to go to the advantage of trying to get it taken care of. Because I think if you shut it down, that building won't be nothing in 2-3 months.
Judge, we've been going through this for years. $200,000 to $300,000 a year we're losing. The county has to keep paying to keep this thing going. We've got people that we laid off last week that don't have a payday or nothing coming in after they draw their last check. And we've got a senior citizen center shut down because we don't have money to run it. We've got swimming pools that we closed down because we don't have money to open up. And, we're under a lease, according to what Jim said, and I doubt if anybody could tie the court up that many years. I'm going to ask our attorney to research that. It's not right for us to have to keep paying $35,000 a year for a lease that we can't do anything about. And that lease was made before this court come in. And maybe our attorney can enlighten us a little bit on that. But, we need to look at what we're doing to our people. We're laying them off and we're playing golf.
Judge, I believe you had a motion on the floor. Is that right, Ms. Rosie?
Yes.
It requires a second. and a majority vote. And the motion ought to be to authorize the judge executive to execute a contract with Mr. Patton or his company incorporating these essential terms. You would execute it upon approval of the county attorney.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
No.
Mr. Murphy? No. Mr. Robinson? Mr. Dotson?
No.
Mr. Barney?
No.
And Judge Deskins?
Abstain.
Motion fails.
All right.
Judge, I just got a question. This court voted not to go in contract with Mr. Patton. That means effective tomorrow, the golf course shuts down. I just want everybody to be aware of that fact, so tomorrow, it just goes away. Do we want to do any kind of preparation?
I believe it's been shut down for a long time.
I'm just talking about our assets over there. Do we just walk away from it
I said
tomorrow?
they had about 30, 35 members down there.
We need to try to protect our assets. I think we're bound by law to protect the assets of Pike County, haven't we?
Yes.
We're going to have to do something.
We'll take a week back when I'm in Washington.
I'll play the first 9, you play 6.
The rest of us, let me know.
No, we'll move on. All right, emergency adoption of the first and second reading of the 2016-2017 budget to be effective July 1, 2016. John Doug, would you please present the second
Judge,
reading?
First thing we need to do is the court needs to declare an emergency. I can do that by resolution. I have one that I've prepared, and I'll read it to the court. It'll require a motion to adopt, a second, and a majority vote. This will be a resolution declaring the existence of an emergency, whereas Kentucky law requires that Pike County Fiscal Court file a balanced budget on or before 11:59 p.m. on June 30, 2016. Whereas if Pike County Fiscal Court fails to file a balanced budget on or before the aforesaid stated time and date, Pike County government would shut down at 12 midnight on July the 1st, 2016, and the county would be unable to provide vital services to its citizens and would further be unable to legally pay its debts and its employees. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Pike County Fiscal Court, pursuant to KRS 67.078, paren 2, hereby declares an emergency to exist for the purpose of adopting an ordinance for the adoption of a balanced budget. That's the resolution. Require motion, second, and majority vote.
I need a second.
What do you need, Judge?
Second,
What?
to approve the budget.
No, Judge, this is the resolution declaring the existence of an emergency. In order for us to have the first and second reading of the budget in just a moment, we need to do that first. Otherwise, we couldn't get, John, to this budget
I'll second.
adopted till sometime up in July, I guess.
All right,
Roll call.
roll call.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson? Mr. Dotson?
Yes.
Mr. Barney?
I'm going to vote no for the simple reason that we're waiting to the 11th hour on all this stuff, and I want to apologize to the people of Pike County for me doing that. I'm much to blame as anybody.
You had a right. You've been sitting through here all of it. You could have voted in. You could have voted up in. Don't
and
try to take care of yourself and blame it on us.
I didn't interrupt you, Chick.
Well, you interrupted when you said that.
But I'm going to vote no on that. And again, I want to apologize to the people of Pike County.
Judge Deskins?
Yes.
Would too if I was you.
Judge, before you move on, I'd like to let people know that Chris Harris, former magistrate, is in the audience, state rep now. Just like to address Mr. Harris. Thanks for coming to the meeting.
Guess we need to move to the budget now. Judge, if I may, I'm ready to have the first and second reading of the budget ordinance.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to do this in summary form. This is a summary analysis of appropriations first. The general fund, total general is $16,036,573. Excuse me, which is 43.57% of the budget. The road fund is $6,518,756, which is 17.71% of the total budget. The jail fund is $4,420,498, which is 12.1% of the total budget. The local government economic assistance fund, otherwise known as LGEA, is $2,303,591, which is 6.26% of the total budget. Federal grants, the total of federal grants is $429,815, which is 1.17% of the total budget. Forest Fire Protection Fund is $30,308, which is 0.08%. Solid Waste Fund, $5,556,768, which is 15.10% of the total budget. Special Fund, which is the LGEDF Recaptured Fund, $452,985, which is 1.23% of the total budget. Special Fund Maintenance Garage Fund is $1,058,252, which is 2.88% of the total budget, and that's 100% of the total budget. And the bottom line number, which includes, by the way, federal grants and pass-through money, total budget appropriations, $36,807,546, which is 100%. And in summary form, the revenue projections are an equal amount. Judge, that is on an emergency basis the first and second reading of the budget ordinance. I would ask, you need to get a motion, a second, and a majority vote.
I need a motion, or I'll make the motion. Need a second.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson? Mr. Dodson?
Yes.
Mr. Verney?
Yes.
Judge Deskins?
Yes. All right.
Hold on, let me get the judge to sign it so I can take it upstairs and scan it and get it signed.
Get it, Frank?
Yeah.
I've got,
It is this one.
do you need a
I may have
third
given you
copy?
the wrong one.
He signed this one.
John, did I give you the right one?
Okay.
John, do you
But
need a
he's-
third copy?
Yeah, okay, these are the originals. Lisa, Test his signature.
It says county clerk. Do I mark that county out?
Yeah. Fiscal under there.
Put what?
Fiscal court.
Yeah.
Just take this one and keep that for their records. Go get the scan sent.
What's this, July the 5th, fiscal court meeting, at the date?
They wanted to decide whether or not cancel. Whether or not to cancel.
Should we cancel it or not? I don't see any.
What is you gonna do? You gonna do?
That changes again.
That's right.
If we can't do that, we're gonna get set up.
We don't.
All right. Next on the agenda is discussion of the July the 5th, 2016 fiscal court meeting. What do we need to discuss?
Judge, do you think we have to have one next Tuesday? It's the day after the 4th and everything. I'd like to see it canceled or even change the time to 10 if Jonda needs one, you know.
Well, you want it changed to a different date?
Well, it's
It
a late
doesn't matter to
evening
me.
thing, but if they have it at 10 o'clock or something, I'd rather see it that way, but.
If we're not gonna have one, if we need to have one, we'll have
Yeah.
one, but if not, if we can move it, I mean, is there a possibility we can move it
The evening part.
well, maybe Thursday or Friday? Or even Wednesday?
Whatever you want.
You want to see what John says?
Let's just wait till Jonda comes back, guys.
See if
and
she has to have
needs
one.
it. I don't think after tonight that we'll need that meeting, but let's make sure, okay? Is that okay? Wait till when Jonda comes back and then we'll
Okay.
vote.
All right. Okay. Awarding of bids. None. Mattress comments.
Judge, I don't have any comments.
I don't have any.
You have anything? Leo?
At this time.
Leo? Hillman?
Yeah. Judge, I don't know what's going on here tonight. I've seen rights and lefts and I can't figure it out. I know we don't have no money, one court meeting, then we come in 2 weeks later and we've got money. I don't know what to tell the people out here. It's in the county. We tell them we're broke, but we come in the next meeting and say we've got $220,000 or $40,000 to extend the insurance plan. That's why we're in the shape we're in now. We keep spending and we don't have the money. And Jonda said we don't have it. And, I don't want to see nobody without insurance, but we voted to do away with the family plan. And we knew this was going to happen. So, we're still buying and selling, and we don't have the money to pay back. And, I'm looking at two centers closed down, Kenneth and Freeburg, Marbone and Freeburg. And the reason they said they closed it down is because they didn't have the money to keep it going. I know you said it wasn't going to happen, but still, these people don't have a center to go to in the morning because it's closed down. And, you know, I just can't figure the court out. We are going to have to quit buying when we don't have money to buy. And we things we need, and we've got 19 people that we laid off that don't have a check.
Well, Hillman, let me say this. You was in the last 2 terms of magistrate with Wayne T. Rutherford. And what did he do? When we went in, we didn't have any money at all on January the 15th when we took over. Why was that let happen?
The reason it happened is that we have kept buying and spending. I'm not blaming you, Judge. I'm just trying to say that we need to get out of debt. And, you know, it's not your fault. You inherited the situation that we're in. And Brian says next year is going to be worse. What we've been doing, we've been banking on cold severance money to get us through. And we don't have it now. So we've got to adjust the way we live with what funds we have to operate on. And we've got to get our priorities in line, because if we keep laying people off, then, you know, they're the ones that's suffering for it. But I just feel like it, you know, the people
26 in it.
knew that we were going to run into this thing. We laid 19 people off. Now you've got people back here in the back, and we've not dealt with that situation yet. We don't know what we're going to do with it until we get with Diane.
Here, and here.
But I just feel like we need to work together and try to get these issues resolved instead of going out and spending.
John, while you're here, there was a discussion about the July, excuse me, Hillman, I thought since she's here, because I know she has to leave again probably, but.
Yeah, I was scanning that and getting this sign for Kelly to.
I know, but about the necessity of a July the 5th meeting, the day after the 4th, but that pretty much depends on whether you need to have it, I think.
The only thing that needs to be addressed is authorizing me to solicit interest rates from the banks to start borrowing money for the new fiscal year, because the bulk of our monies don't come in until December, January, and February, when the tax tickets go out and when the solid waste coupons go out. The CAECO workers' comp and liability will be $900,000. You have to pay half up front for the month of July, and then they take the other half and divide it over the next 3 months. That would, blacktopping season's here. Have we got any of those flex contracts back yet for 15, 16, or 16, 17?
15, 16, 16, 17 is not back yet. But I think the 15, is the 14, 15 came in, 15, 16?
I've not seen 15, 16. Have we gotten it back, Jeannie?
14, 15. It's sent out to the state, I know that.
Those kind of things we have to do and get reimbursed back. Just a second. One more there, Judge. Judge, one more signature right there.
Oh.
As of today, the bank account had $2 million and some in it, but we sent out 2.182 in accounts payable on the 28th. We paid June's health insurance, which was $221,000, the life, dental, vision. Payroll went out to be dated today. Once all those checks cleared, I took that money and just subtracted it off. I don't know how much could be outstanding still from May because we've got a glitch with our program to get numbers, and we're trying to get those fixed back, which Frankie did, so I could go through the bank account and check off the Mays checks. But the bank account, if every check cleared, probably has about $100,000 in a consolidated account, which includes general, road, jail, and LGEA and forestry. The solid waste has $39,000 in the bank as of today. Those are monies, I did not budget any surplus going forward, so that would be extra money there at June 30 once we get things reconciled. But the $2 million and $3 million that we're used to seeing at June 30th is gone. This is the lowest I've ever seen our bank accounts.
So are you saying, Jonda, that if the court gives you authorization to make inquiry with regard to interest rates, you won't need a July the 5th meeting?
Not that I'm aware of.
Well, you need to be aware.
No, I mean, I don't think of anything else that I know of that's coming up.
Okay.
I just need to get that in place by the time payroll goes back out in 2 weeks and the accounts payable. We will start getting the occupational tax for the month of July, which should be $750,000 is what we have budgeted per quarter. The coal and mineral severance will have a check coming in, hopefully in July, could be August. It's according to when they get the new formulas into the system to calculate the checks. But I just want to be prepared in case we need to borrow money to have this on the table. That will happen earlier.
So once you make that inquiry, you can report back to the court with
Yes.
regard to the...
If we have to have a special meeting, if it
the
gets to
rates.
be.
Okay, all right, thank you.
So we just need to give you
Are you through?
Yeah,
Sorry.
John Doug said he just signed a note for us.
because I asked Robert Brown, and he said it doesn't matter when we ask the court to allow me to do that, whether it's in this fiscal year or next fiscal year. For next fiscal year.
on how you want it. I mean,
Okay.
So are we canceling the meeting for July the 5th then?
We need a motion to authorize the treasurer to make inquiry as to interest rates in the event of a necessity of a loan. You're not voting for her to make the loan or do the deal. You're simply authorizing her to get various interest rates from the lending institutions so she can report back to the court on that issue at a future time.
Motion.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson? Mr. Dodson?
Yes.
Mr. Barney?
Yes.
Judge Deskins?
Yes.
Judge, I'll finish up by saying that since we got the borrowing power and got plenty of money coming in, we can borrow when we want to. I'd like to make a motion that we bring them 19 people back that we laid off last week. And I'll close.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Anderson?
Judge, if we've got the money, I'd like to ask John to.
I can tell you, Jeff, if you bring back the employees that was laid off, you're looking at probably 1.2 million.
So we don't have the money. Is that a safe assumption?
That's 1.2 million.
Okay. No.
Mr. Johnson?
No.
Mr. Murphy? No. Mr. Robinson?
I would too.
Me too.
Well, you know, we got money to
Give me money, I go on
extend the
vacation.
insurance. That would bring them back to work.
Mr. Dodson?
I'd love to.
Mr. Dodson? Mr. Barney?
Yes.
And Judge Deskins?
No. Now, you have any more comments?
You finished?
Okay, Bobby.
And going in those same, as we're looking at this and the condition and stuff we're in, I think I'd like to make a motion that the salary for the magistrates would be cut from $45,000 to $25,000 a year.
No, hell no. I believe you better go back and start coaching. I mean, you should go back and start refereeing ball games. I mean, you know about refereeing ball games, you'd have been master.
I need a second.
Judge, before you get a second, I want to make a comment. I always wear the black hat in this meeting, and unfortunately, the Kentucky Revised Statute, I have it in my office, I didn't bring it in here, does not permit this court to either raise its salary or lower its salary, and that motion would be completely contrary to the law of the Commonwealth of Kentucky. My job is to tell you guys what the law is, and I've told you, all right? If I'd known Magistrate Varney was going to make that motion, I'd have brought the statute and read it verbatim. As a matter of fact, for the information of this court, the salaries are fixed by the first Monday in May of the year in which you would have to run for the next term of the court. So you all got until that first Monday of May to figure out what you want your salaries to be if you're around for the next term.
Judge, I was talking to Bob about that this morning. And I don't know if it's a political move on his part or what, but he knew that he couldn't do that when he made that motion.
Anybody got any sense couldn't know that. I mean, I know that.
Bob, you know that we couldn't do that, and I talked to you this morning about it. And I don't know if you made it for a political move or what, but, you know, I can handle it if the rest of them can.
We can make the motion to do that, to set it for the next term today, can't we?
I think the attorney just told you we had to do it.
Excuse me, Hillman. Actually, you can set it for the next term. The date is you have to do it by the first Monday in May. Well, this certainly is by the first Monday in May, 2 years hence.
You don't like it, Barney, go back and work Belford State. Yeah, I feel bad.
Judge, I hardly know what to say now. Magistrate Varney, is your motion to set the salaries for the next term of the court, not to reduce them for this term?
The next term, yes, sir.
Then I assume that would be legal.
Who said?
Do you have a second? Do we have a second? All right, the next on the agenda is the treasurer's business, and I believe she stepped out. But I'll say a few words. This thing about stopping these two senior citizens things is not going to happen, because we gave them $600,000 that they wanted to do their business, and they have to do their own business. So I will talk to Monday with the board and the director and find out just what went on. I don't think the board can do that kind of thing. So I think we can get that straightened out, because we're going to have them all back into the system.
Judge, if I may, there's some misunderstanding about the way this senior citizens program works. The board is not a board of this court. It's not appointed by this court. One member to the board is appointed by the judge executive, subject to approval of the court. That member is, and has been since I've been around county government, I don't know what Diana Thacker's title is. We used to call it the social services director, but I don't know what it is now. But she is a member of that board. She is the director of the program. That program is funded through federal grant, state money, and this court, as you said, Judge, supplements the budget of the senior citizens program by $600,000. $600,000 is in the budget ordinance that we just adopted. By the way, that was exactly what it was in the last budget. It was not decreased any. I was not at the meeting. Didn't even know they had a meeting until this morning when I came in, and I was informed what had happened, the closure of the Marrowbone Center and the Intergenerational Center. It was then brought to my attention just this morning that board met in a special meeting. Don't even know where it was. I assume it was downstairs. In a special meeting, and did not provide, as required by KRS Chapter 61, any notice to the media or anybody else of that meeting. Well, you know, sometimes we can argue with one another about what's legal and proper under the Open Records Act, what's legal and proper under the Open Meetings Act. But this is one attorney that happens to know and understand, Jeff, that was an improper, illegal meeting. It was done contrary. It was done contrary to the Kentucky Revised Statute, which requires notice of that special meeting, just like this court has to give notice of the meeting. And I've told the director that in no uncertain terms. Matter of fact, one meeting I stopped them from going out right in the middle of a court meeting to have a special meeting, told them they couldn't do that. So to the question that's been raised, I'm going to ask Diane to draft a letter stating that it was done contrary to law, that she's sorry. I don't believe that it was a willful violation of the act by any means. The story I got, and Brian, you correct me if I'm wrong, you were sitting right there, was that a person, not an employee of this court, but an employee of the board that works in the same office where Mrs. Thacker works, was assigned the duty to send those notices out. And she, for some reason, she neglected to do so. She forgot or something, I don't know. But the fact of the matter is, and I've talked to County Attorney Howard Keith Hall at length this morning about this situation, we're both in complete agreement that they need to do what I call a do-over. They need to have another meeting, send out notices properly, and take this issue up again and see what they want to do. Now, in all this discussion, Judge Morris, it was brought to my attention, well, we didn't have the money. They had to have the meeting like we did today to get a balanced budget. I assume that goes to Big Sandy Ad. I'm not sure about that. But in any event, they have to do it, and they have to do it in accordance with law. And so that is my legal position, that they need to redo that action. Now, it's been asked of me, is that a void? Is what they did void since they did violate the Open Meetings Act of Kentucky law? I did some quick research this morning. I read the act for about 2 times, read numerous Attorney General open meetings decisions, and now I'm really going to blow your mind legally. I believe that it is void, that it is not void, excuse me, but I believe it is voidable. And that's something for a lawyer to say. It's not void, but it's voidable. And to be voidable, somebody would simply, if they don't do it over and do it properly, somebody could file a suit in Pike Circuit Court and simply allege what we already know happened, that there was a violation of the act, and that the court should issue an injunction against that board taking any action pursuant to that which was done at this meeting. Now, I hope I made myself clear. So County Attorney Keith Hall and I simply agreed, just have another meeting and try to abide by the act. And Judge, if they do that, that would give you a chance to go down and put your 2 cents worth in. Magistrate Dotson, I'm sure, would like to go put his in. Maybe Magistrate Robinson would like to have a word to say to the board. And this court then, including its attorney, would know exactly why they are trying to do what they're trying to do. Have I made sense? Thank you.
Well, I will be in on that too. And you senior citizens are going to get your system back.
Well, I was going to ask John Doug, if you don't care, John Doug, I saw a lot of...
But as far as I'm concerned, it is tomorrow.
You got anything to say about that, John Doe?
You think I'm crazy?
John Doe, can we go?
If it's okay with the court, they've been a gentleman back here that's raised his hand 2 or 3 times to speak. Well, I've asked him to wait, but if it's okay with the court, just one person, you care if he comes up and addresses the court? Is that okay? Gentlemen, if you don't care, come on up. We're doing public comments after we come back from executive session, but I've told him 2 or 3 times, give me a minute. If you don't care, state your name.
Well, we got treasurer's business next to it. Where is she?
Paul Charles. And my question is, where is Diane at tonight?
I'll answer that question for you. Diane in the Senior Citizen Center is doing bingo.
Okay.
And under bingo law, Diane has to be present during bingo hours.
All right. What's happening with the money from bingo?
Now, that'd be a question for their board to answer. I couldn't even comment on what they've received from bingo.
Yeah. But shouldn't we be informed, the senior citizens people,
See, now,
what we got
see,
in it?
These
We're all
questions,
senior citizens.
Well, these questions need to be addressed to their board. I mean, this court has no idea about bingo, what it's bringing in.
All right. Who does she answer to?
That'd be Judge Deskins.
Well, I think she needs reprimanded for the way she does stuff. She goes over your head all the time. She does what she wants to do, and this court sits here and does nothing. Let her do what she wants to do.
I'm the boss.
Or if you're the boss, you need to take care of her in.
Well, I will take care of it and
I
see
appreciate that.
everything restored the way it was. And she was supposed to talk to me. And the board was supposed to do what they did under their own laws, and they did not do that.
So, what you need to do? I'm gonna give you a little bit of advice. You need to send her to the house like you did the other 19. There you go. Get rid of her. But
Well, I'm going to help you all, and I got to be fair with everybody.
but and our center's not in the red. We've never been in a red. We're profitable according to the ladies back here who run it, and we're not in no kind of deficit. So why does she want to mess with us?
Well, she should have known her duties, and they did not. That did not happen.
But-
she was supposed to have 24-hour ad in the wherever publicly, and she didn't do that.
I'm not blaming you, Judge, but she's got a vendetta against the Phelps senior citizen, the workers there, and she tries everything she can to cause them problems. And we've come to court here once before over the same thing, and we've been to the board meetings and everything, and I reckon our center is running like it's supposed to. We have no problems. We're not no financial problems.
Well, we had some problems getting your $600,000 for the people in Pike County.
Yeah, I'm not blaming the court for none of this. I'm not.
I would like to say I received a call last night from a real close friend from the Phelps area, and I talked with her for a little bit, and I think she understood the process. I would just like all the seniors in here to understand that Mr. Hayes said that we'll redo it.
Right, that's good.
And this court could make them redo their meeting. This court cannot make them, it's their decision. If they vote for the Phelps Senior Citizen Centers to close, I mean, Phelps has no bigger ambassador than Master Dotson.
Oh, I know that, but you can guarantee that they will vote to close it then.
Well,
if y'all can't interfere with them, they will close the Phelps Center.
Well, who's the president of the court? I mean, the board.
It'd be Diane, wouldn't it?
Who's
Diane
in
is.
charge? Who?
Diane, who works for y'all.
No, she's not the one that runs the board.
You're the boss.
Mike Taylor's the foreman, the chair.
But she works for the court, am I correct?
The redo will happen, but this court cannot determine their vote. I mean, the seniors in here needs to understand, you know, Hilma Dotson's the biggest ambassador that Phelps has.
Oh, I know he has.
And he's for this center. And Mr. Dotson can go there and he can plead your case. But if that board votes to close the Marbone Center, the Phelps Center, there's absolutely nothing that this court can do other than the wishes of the board. Is that correct, John Doe?
Well, let me say something, John.
Go ahead.
We control their money. We gave them $500,000 up front, and then we gave them $100,000 out of the money that we took in from the occupational tax. So we didn't cut their money in no way. And the Phelps Center is paid, this court pays for the utilities, we pay for the upkeep on that building, and we pay for the cooks.
That's right.
So how can they say that will help them balance their budget by shutting that center down?
I told you it's personal.
It's a personal thing because,
Yes.
and you know, Paul, we will just have to work through it like Brian said. You know, we've had to go through it before, and John Doug told her in the last meeting that she was here she couldn't have a meeting without advertising. So they knew better. And if they don't do it, then somebody will just have to take them to court.
Yeah, she's just a loose cannon, does what she wants to do.
But I think the judge said he wasn't going to close the center down. That was good news.
That's good news. Appreciate it, Judge.
If the court don't care, State Rep Chris Harris would like to speak.
Yeah, thank you, Brian. And I'm here today, I just want to be real brief. This is the second time I've been here since I left this court. Second time I've been in this courthouse in 2 years. And I've got a lot of respect for what you guys have been through. I know what you've been through. I've looked at the numbers, and I've seen that in 2010, the first quarter coal severance deposit for Pike County was $1,437,000. And this year, the first quarter deposit was $34,000. So what we're dealing with here is a change in revenue that this county has, you know, that we're dealing with. I mean, that's what's going on here. It's not spending as much as it is the revenue, and it's been cut so drastically. But what this court does, and I appreciate everything that all of you do, but what this court does is that the court has influence over the board, and I agree with you all that you do not have the authority to tell the Pike County senior citizens that they have to keep this Freeburn Center open. You know, you can't do it. They're an independent board. They make their own decisions. But you do control their purse strings, and you do have a lot of influence over what they do. So I would just encourage all of you to talk to your board members, and Judge, talk to Diane Thacker and ask them to reconsider their decision. I mean, these folks at Freeburn deserve a place. I've been there. It's a well-run center. I believe it's a well-run center. The people there use it religiously, and it's a real integral part of a community that needs that center. So I would just encourage all of you to please contact the board members and work with them to try to see if you can't use your influence with the purse strings to try to influence them to maybe reconsider their decision and keep the Phelps Center open. Okay? Thank you all.
Manager Dodson, if I might suggest, it may be appropriate for this court tonight to entertain a resolution opposing the closing of the two centers and forward that resolution to the board, to Diane Thacker. That would be expressing the will and intent of this court, and I think it'd be altogether appropriate, but that's up to you.
John Doug, if it's legal, I would like to make a motion to put the centers back in operation in the morning. They had an illegal meeting, and I think we need to investigate it. And if it takes court action, whatever, we need to do it. and I'd like to make a motion that they get rid of her.
Couldn't hear you, Kenneth, I'm sorry. What exactly was the motion?
I know that we don't have the power to do that, but I'm asking the judge to do it.
I didn't,
Hillman?
what was the motion to do what?
Yeah.
The motion was to open the building back up tomorrow for Marbone and Phelps. And if we need to take action, they had an illegal meeting, illegal ruling. They can't, according to what you just said, they can't do what they did. And if they don't want to back up, then we can go to court with them. And on the end of my motion was, I'd like to ask the judge to get us a new director.
I just want to make sure you were leaving that in the hands of the judge. As you know, this court can't make personnel.
I think I very clearly said that.
Well, I didn't hear. I'm sorry.
Well, let me say this. I can't do anything without looking at the whole picture. And I'm going to do that. And we may do what you ask, but I can't until I look at the whole picture.
Judge, we've been arguing over issues that should have been settled through John Doug. Him and Brian has talked to this lady and asked her to try to cooperate. It seems like every time you turn around, it's another issue because she don't like Freeburn and she don't like me.
Well, what caused that?
I don't know. I guess because I stand up for the people.
Well, I know some cases where that you have to look at both sides. There may be somebody that was real mean to her or whatever, and I want to find that out. Well, just remember, my life is what it is. I'm 86 years old, and I believe in the good Lord. And my history now, think about it, my history is what it is. In being 2 terms as sheriff, and this is my 2nd term as judge. And I should have went fishing on this term, but I didn't.
Do what's right.
Do what?
Do what's right.
I've always done that, or what I thought was right.
So we got a motion, Hillman, you made a motion on reopening the centers tomorrow. So we need a second.
I'll second that motion.
Now we need a roll call.
I think Kenneth seconded.
Ask for a roll call.
Can they, John Doug, can they do that, or is it my job?
Judge, your job with regard to personnel is to make recommendations. I haven't heard you make any recommendation. What I've heard you say, you're going to look into this. And so the motion would be to reopen the centers.
Right.
Is that correct, Hillman?
Yes.
But I've made 2 or 3 motions here, and if I have to make it again, Bill thinks that, let him do it if that's what he wants to do. He's the judge.
Well,
We got a motion in a second.
We got a motion, a second on reopening.
Well, I think I deserve about 3 or 4 days, so I can't jump here that fast. Some people want you to do it 18 steps and call it 2, but I can't.
I'll make one point and then I'll shut up. You can go ahead and vote on the motion to reopen, but until you hear the judge recommend personnel action with regard to any employee, including Diana Thacker, you can't vote on that. You simply cannot raise that by way of motion. The law is clear that only the judge's recommendation can be acted upon with regard to personnel.
But I'd like to make a motion to everybody to understand. From the president down to the constable, they have an oath of office. and they'll put their hand on the Bible and take that that motion, and never look back at their oath of what they're supposed to do. And I have tried to do that. And sometimes you can get in too big a hurry. Sometimes you get angry and do a little more than you want to do. I'm going to do this in 3 or 4 days and whatnot, and I may fire her. But right now, I want to hear from her. Now, can that be fair or not? Tell me.
Motion.
I can't hear you, ma'am.
I said she went over your head and voted us closed. How can she do that?
What's she saying?
The motion on the floor would be to reopen the centers. Magistrate Robinson seconded. You can go ahead and have a roll call vote on that. You cannot vote on personnel action because the judge has made no recommendation.
But does Hillman need to just amend his original motion and then just make a motion to reopen the centers, and then Kenneth, he can second that motion, then we can vote on it? Okay.
So what do we do with this motion?
Did we made a motion to,
He can just withdraw his.
open it up in the morning?
Hillman can, I mean, if you want, I reckon he can withdraw his motion, can't he, John? If he wants to.
I'll just withdraw my motion, Rose. You want to withdraw your second, we'll let the judge go ahead and make a motion to open it up.
Yeah. I make a motion to reopen both centers in the morning. Tied in the motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Master Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson? Yes. Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
Mr. Dodson?
Yes.
Mr. Barney?
Yes.
Judge Deskins?
Ma'am? Yes.
One last thing, there was one more gentleman back there that was wishing to talk that I don't want to bypass.
Is the treasurer coming back? Where'd she go?
She was doing something with Mr. Harden, with Kelly.
Waiting on the treasurer to get back.
You got one.
A little bit slow. I got a
All right.
replace knee and another one wore out.
What's your name?
I'm Lacey Furrow from Phelps, and I go to the center down there 3 or 4 times a week.
All right, go right ahead.
And I used to be able to take my wife a lunch. I got a very sick wife, and that's cut out. And we went over, you said we should talk with her and discuss things. We went up to the Board of Health building. Every one of us, it was up there bald-headed or gray, and she called us kindergarten kids. Yeah. But we need some help, and you've helped us. And we need to get rid of that woman, because she was over at a doctor's place begging people to pray for her. Said, my nerves is wrecked. I've been in a bad building. If she's sick, she needs to.
Well, I want to know from her what people have said to her. Is that fair?
That's fair.
We just wanted to talk up there, and she didn't call us the kindergarten kids. One of the board members from another district, another center.
The board should handle things.
Huh?
Board should handle things.
I can't hear you, Judge. Tell me again.
The board that you have should handle some problems.
The lady on our board member?
They've never come to me with anything.
But they won't tell us nothing. She come over here to the meeting and say, I'm not allowed to tell you people
Well, now,
nothing. It's
the
a closed
board should
session.
be new with a new judge, and it's not been that way, has it?
We just got a problem. We just like to have it ironed out and get things back to normal, and we're a happy group over there. We play pool, darts, and cornhole games, and we enjoy having a place to go. That's all we got.
Well, you're going to have it in the morning.
That's good. That's all I got to say. Thank you, Judge.
Now, You're on this. Now, I want to hear from Kenny Mullins.
Who, Judge?
Let me go.
Oh, Ronnie Mullins?
Because it's in summary form.
Ronnie's left, Judge.
Where is he?
He left. You can move
He
on.
left. Neil Lambert?
Hey.
I ran out of paper. I made about 100. Okay. I was going to give some to Ralph.
He just left.
Am I free to go, fellas?
Go ahead, Neil.
I'd like to thank the court, first of all, for allowing me a little bit of time to speak. And I'd like to recognize all my fellow senior citizens back there. Give yourself a hand. I love every one of them. You know, I've sat and listened here this evening, and this is like deja vu. I've been here once before, given all the reasons why they should leave it open and everything, and I'm not going to go there with that. We have a problem over there, like I addressed the court the last time, and it's Diane Thacker, truly. I'm telling you, nobody's done nothing to her, Judge. She has got a personal, vindictive attitude toward us over there, because if she makes a motion to do something, then we question her about it. I don't see how that we could be in the red when we have 60 takeout meals a day that goes out there, maybe around that right there, and then everybody pays their way down there at the center, and y'all, what, $500,000 to the program. She told the ladies that deliver the home meals that they could go to Blackberry and get the people over in Phelps their meals still yet. That don't make a bit of sense to me. And this court has got far more problems to worry about than dealing with Diane Thacker. I'm telling you, our county has got more to deal with, Brian, than dealing with problems like this. All we want to be as human is left alone. We just want to be left alone over there. There's good people over there that you can't beat them nowhere in this county, and she has got a personal thing against the people. How is that helping to just up and we was not notified, we was not told nothing, you all weren't told nothing about this here? There is no need for us to really even be here this evening, but the problem is her. And I feel sorry for the people that would have Mike Taylor, Eugene Gibbs, and her. Thank God they're not our county leaders, I'll tell you that. I'm grateful for that right now. And if that opens in the morning, what about Missy? She told Missy, our director there, that she no longer had a job. What about her, Judge? Is she to be there in the morning too?
Missy is a senior board employee. That is 100% left up to that board.
I understand.
This court cannot address any employees of the senior board.
But how could one woman have so much power?
It's not the one woman, it's the board together.
I understand that. I understand what you're saying.
I'm taking that up in executive session tonight.
I mean, I think we're pretty self-sufficient run over there. Like Master Hillman said, the power, the water, the sewer, the building. And we got a former board member back there. He was talking with us today. We were always in the black. We wasn't in the red every year. And from what I can tell, we're pretty sufficient run ourselves over there. Why would they want to shut us down? Why? She wouldn't even recommend 3 days a week. I mean, it's just shut it completely down. And the Marbone, the reason why I think she even included them in on this is it's just like, a casualty of war to get the heat off of her. She has got personal ill feelings toward the people over there. She has tried to bar people out over there. They have told every kind of malicious lie that can be known on people over there, that the people are mean. There was one fella, we went to the health department to a board meeting. He said, I'm afraid to come over there. Well, you know what? That insulted me. The people over there are not that ignorant and dumb to just up and jump on somebody. He said, I'm afraid that I'll get jumped on, get hurt over there. That is all lies. We're not that ignorant.
Who was going to hurt her?
That's what I'm saying. Who was going to, somebody told lies like that, Judge, that to this fella, he was a board member, I don't know his name, but that just made us look bad. And we're not that ignorant. We're a civilized people over there, you know. And like I said, y'all got more things to deal with, problems in this county. This is uncalled for, and Diane Thacker's the problem that we're even here this evening. And John Doug told her, I was right here, that she couldn't do it that way. He told her, said, no, said, you can't have a meeting unless, what he said there, you know, she'd done been warned of this, her and the board all. Before. We shouldn't have to deal with Diane Thacker no more. Now, I'm telling you, she needs reprimanded. You know, I've worked all my life, and if I got out of line or something, I got reprimanded. And I firmly believe in being reprimanded. And I thank you all for your help. I thank you, Judge, for your help. And
I'm looking into things, okay?
Yeah, I understand you got procedures and steps, everybody does, but she just like on the Wizard of Oz, she's the Wicked Witch of the West.
So let me ask you this question. Would you put somebody before a firing squad without knowing everything that he's there for?
Well, we've never been over here. I put it to you this way. I mean, look at it. We've never been over here. I've never been over here to a court meeting, and talked. This makes the second time we've been here, and I thought it was all settled. Now here we are back again, and it's all her things that she's doing. Like I said, she didn't even recommend 3 days a week to shut it down. She just shut it down.
She don't have the authority to do anything. The board does.
She controls the board, though.
She controls it.
Who's in charge of the board?
We were told nothing.
Mike Taylor.
Nothing about it. Nobody knows nothing about it.
Who's the chairman of the board?
Mike Taylor, Judge. Mike Taylor. Yep, mayor of Oakland.
Okay.
But I thank you all. I do. From the bottom of my heart, and him, and we're proud of you and proud of you all. Like I said, y'all got more problems to deal with. We've got a lot of issues and troubles in this county, and we shouldn't even be here with something like that. Now, we need to be warned and told if, say, hey, look, we're low on money or whatever the problem is, the seniors need to know that, say, we're going to have to do something, shut y'all down to 2 or 3 days a week or something. We was told nothing. Just, it's over with. It's gone. It's shut down. You no longer have a job, they told some of the ladies. So we appreciate y'all. Help us with it.
Yeah, I want another one. Toby Miller.
Toby here to leave. I asked you just one question. That meeting was illegal the other day. Anything that took part in that meeting should be void.
I can't hear you. Won't you come up here and talk to us?
Let me respond real quickly. I understand your question. That gets back to my lawyer's answer. There's an issue of being void and voidable. The only person that can void that action is a Pike Circuit judge. That board took action, and we keep trying to say, if they'll just back up and redo, give everybody notice, let the judge, the magistrates concerned, Judge Morris, and everybody take part in that meeting, including the citizens here, so you'll have your input.
Yeah.
But then when the board acts, we got to go back to that. That is an independent board. This court only has control through the purse strings. I don't know what their total budget is. I don't know that anybody on this court knows what their total budget is. Do you, Hillman? I don't.
But if it was
I don't know. We give them $600,000.
If it was an illegal meeting, anything that was done there, it should be void, shouldn't it? I mean,
It's not void, it's voidable. But to make it void, you have to go into court. But they got no defense. It's clear that what they did was a violation of the Kentucky Open Meetings Act. That's a very simple statute. Sometimes we all run afoul of these things, but what happened, significant action was taken in a meeting that nobody seemed to know about. I would hope that they get notices out to all the centers, to anyone. It'll be in the paper, won't it, Julia? If they send a notice, they'll publish it in the paper, the local paper. It'll be posted prominently here in the courthouse as required by Kentucky law. And I'd say Magistrate Dotson will get a copy of it, and he'll inform you guys.
okay.
Appreciate you.
So what we just need to do, and Missy, is just wait until she gets the phone call about coming back to work. It's void.
See, she's paid by I guess you're paid by the board, not by the county. We have one county worker over there who I understand is off sick right now. So somebody's going to have to go in there. It's the board.
Well, I understand now.
It's the board that pays the senior citizens workers. They're not the cooks, but the other folks. And I believe I'm right about that.
Well, thank y'all for listening to me. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
Paul Charles?
My name is Toby Miller, and Judge, to tell you the truth, I don't know why I even walked up here, because most of my problems have been solved, thanks to you and Hillman Dotson and the other members here. I've been going to the Phelps Freeburn Center probably since 2000. And I went every day, at least I might miss one day a month, maybe. But for about 5, maybe 8 years. Then I took a few years off to have a few strokes. Had 5 strokes and 2 heart attacks. And I started going back to the center, and it was all I could do really to walk. But since I've been going over there, it gives me something to do, and I'm doing much better. And I'm not the only one who would be bothered health-wise if the center was closed. I mean, it's the only I don't know the word I'm searching for. It's the only entertainment, the only thing I have to do.
Source of activities.
Yeah. But I thank you guys for saying that you will reopen it, and may God bless you. Thank you.
Hey, Toby.
Yes.
Toby, it's good seeing you.
Thank you, sir.
It's been a little bit since we spoke.
Yeah.
It's good seeing you.
Well, thank you.
But like I told you, I'm gonna look into the thing right to the fullest, and I think I know what I'm gonna do, but I can't until I talk to her and a couple of other people. So I'll get my job done.
Well, we appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
All right. Jonda?
Judge, if you don't care, I think when, was you done speaking, Hillman? Was you done? I think we got to go to Bobby for his comments.
You're next.
Can you all do an executive session? Let me finish some stuff up.
Well, here's what where are we, honey?
Just go into executive session.
Well, you're first. That's what's on the schedule. It will be
Just go
whatever.
into executive session. There's some stuff out. Just sign this for me, Judge.
Okay.
Just keep on going. Go to the executive session here.
Judge, we need to go in executive session. I promise it won't take long.
We'll do that, and then we'll
Okay,
get you.
sign this.
All right.
I'll get this published.
Yes, sir, Judge. I'd make a motion that we go into executive session in accordance with KRS 61.810, paragraph F, discussion of Pacific personnel.
No date on it.
Need a second.
Okay.
We need a second on executive session.
We got a motion and a second for executive session.
Who's the second?
Roll call, please.
Master Anderson. Master Johnson. Master Murphy. Master Robinson. Master Dodson.
Yes.
Master Barney.
Yes.
Judge Deskins.
Yes. We'll be in recess for a few minutes. Court come to order. All right. Next on the order is the magistrate's comments. No, I'm sorry.
Hey, Judge, if I reckon now would be as good a time as any to bring up the golf course. We have Jim Patton still here, and I think he has agreed to make a concession on the $25,000, and if we could still keep the golf course, and I think it would behoove us to do that. I think we would still got the lease payments, and the gentleman, Brian Johnson's his name, he would still be there. He lives on the golf course. And is that correct, Jim? Anything you want to say?
Yes, Brian actually lives in the apartment in the pro shop. Well, you know, with his, if he was laid off, then there'd be nobody there. But Brian actually lives in the pro shop in that apartment.
Okay, and I want to make sure I'm not putting words in your mouth. You've agreed to waive the $25,000, correct?
Yes, actually, I got a text from Mike Blackburn earlier today. He's on vacation, and he said he thought that we could take that if it came down to it, that we could take it and try to run with it if we could maybe find some other sources to help us along the way. But we are willing to do that, and Mike, as a representative of the board, alluded that he would be willing to do that as well.
Okay. Well, I think with that being said, and given your concession on the money, I'd like to make a motion that we go ahead and enter into that agreement.
Master Anderson, yes. I think the proper motion may be a motion to reconsider.
Motion to reconsider the contract.
Reconsider the vote by which the court declined to enter into the agreement.
Okay.
Then a motion would be made after that, if that passes, to go ahead and enter into an agreement with Jim Patton and his group on the basis outlined. That agreement would be subject to approval by the county attorney.
So just make a motion to reconsider the motion that originally failed.
You want to make the motion?
Yeah, I'll make the motion.
I'll second that.
Roll call, please.
Master Anderson.
Yes.
Master Johnson. Master Murphy. Master Robinson. Master Dodson.
No.
Master Barney.
Yes.
And Judge Deskins.
Yes.
Now your motion to authorize the judge to execute the
All
agreement.
right.
Subject to-
Next on the
Judge, we got another
Brian.
motion.
Judge, we need a motion to authorize you to execute the agreement with Mr. Patton.
That agreement subject to approval by the county attorney.
Subject to approval by the county attorney.
Okay. Need a second. Roll call, please.
Master Anderson.
Yes.
Master Johnson. Master Murphy.
Yes.
Master Robinson. Master Dodson.
No.
Master Barney.
Yes.
Judge Deskins.
Yes.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
Saved us.
All right.
So we're still going to pay Brian? Yes. I'll have to get authority to authorize transfers or have a meeting before we send payroll out the week after to transfer money because I only had money for leases.
Yeah, we passed that issue on the Amos Bartley property, I believe it was. There was a gas line broken by weed mowing crew, and it resulted in quite a bit of lost gas, and the bill, I don't remember, John, it was $700 and something. I have looked into it, seen photos, and it's my recommendation, based upon my investigation, that we go ahead and pay it. That's what this court has always done. When we tear up something, Jackie Darrell, we fix it.
My little question, though, is shouldn't he have that buried in the ground? Will we be liable to cause of damage? I mean, we could get our workers hurt from that or killed.
I understand, but that'll require a motion and a second and a majority vote of the court.
Can we put the amount in the motion?
You remember the amount, Jonda?
I think it's about $700, the difference between what their last month's bill was and what this month's bill was.
Does that make the second time that guy's done that?
Yeah.
Not to exceed $1,000, because I'm not sure. I know it wasn't that much.
I think it was $787 or something like that.
It was something.
Let's make it to pay that bill, but not to exceed $800.
800.
I thought 700.
Well, that was the total bill. The addition was just 700.
I don't know if it would have been in there.
Bill. I want to do next week.
Is that the bill or last year's?
Oh, that's it right there. That's it.
Huh. Looks like I was wrong. It's more than 700.
Is that really the bill?
Golly.
They went out in June. Wasn't that for July?
What's this about right here?
Ask Brian.
That's his total bill, though. What was the?
It's in the minutes, if you want to look in the minutes.
John Doug, in the future, couldn't we require some stake or something telling where these lines are at? Because that's a hazard.
Jackie, there's a sign up there right now. Gas line, beware.
This is not to go in the glass cage.
That don't have to. I don't know whichever. What's it say? I'm interested personally.
Ralph wants it buried in the ground. Well, you know, we've done paid this second time. And, you know, if I know my line's in that ditch and it gets broke twice, then if I don't fix it, then what are you gonna do the next time it gets broke?
It should be buried. I can't understand the law. I thought would have been where it has to be buried so much.
So don't take it.
I don't think there is a law that has to be.
What do we do about the motion?
It's awful dangerous, sounding to me like wonder that weed mower man that got blowed up cutting that gas line.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jeff, can you make that motion on the gas line?
No, Kenneth has a motion.
Oh, Kenneth made the motion.
I can second it.
Need a second.
But I need
Second.
to know, we're not to exceed how much?
Was it 800?
800,000.
800,000?
No, 1,000.
Okay,
I need a second.
second.
Roll call, please.
Master Anderson. Master Anderson. Master Johnson. Master Murphy.
Yes.
Master Robinson. Master Dodson.
No.
Master Barney.
Yes.
Judge Deskins.
Yes.
Now, does this money come out of Kenneth's road account? Is this where this money's coming from?
There's money in a line item called property damage in the budget for the road department.
Okay.
What do you? what's your
Same as in solid waste if they tear anything up. Property damage, we got $3,000 in the line item for property damage.
Brian, you're next.
Just a couple of personnel need approval to replace Darren Akers' position with Stephen Blackburn as driver for solid waste area number 2 at solid waste at a 2A rate of pay effective June 25th. Stephen Blackburn was one of the 19 Hillmen that you referred to earlier that we laid off due to budgetary reasons that we're going to bring back to fill that position. Need approval for Noah Case to temporarily replace Greg White as road foreman for lot number 2 at a 4A rate of pay effective May 5th. Need approval. Mary Lyons was a part-time employee at the Phelps Generational Center. We voted to lay her off effective the 24th. Our full-time employee, Eileen, is down injured, so Mary has been filling in doing the cooking at the Phelps Generational Center, so I need approval to keep her on the payroll effective until Eileen comes back to work full-time. Don't know what that date will be, but need approval to keep Mary Lyons on the payroll. Also, we voted to lay off Tony Dotson effective June 27th. Tony is a road worker of District 5. Hillman had a couple people off work last week. That district's been through a lot of flooding over the last week or two. So Jackie Darrell left him on the payroll until the workers come back, which they're back now. I need approval to pay him through today, and then also need approval to move Tony Dodson to District 3 to fill in for an injured employee that Leo has at the same rate of pay as he has now. And that's the judge's recommendations.
I need a motion.
Motion.
It's his motion.
Oh.
Personnel. The judge's motion. We need a second.
All right, I'll second it.
Roll call, please.
Master Anderson.
Yes.
Master Johnson.
Yes.
Master Murphy.
Yes.
Master Robinson. Master Dodson.
Yes.
Master Barney.
Yes.
Judge Desk.
Yes. Next on the agenda is the treasurer's business.
Assistant County Attorney, will you do the housekeeping amendment that I didn't get to finish and don't really have a number, but it's not going to be anything that's other than housekeeping to finish out the year with no money being for nothing?
This is a budget amendment. It's an ordinance relating to the annual budget and amendment thereof, whereas Pike County, Kentucky has realized unbudgeted receipts, be it ordained by Pike County of the Commonwealth of Kentucky, Section 1, current fiscal year 2015-2016. The budget for the current fiscal year is amended to increase/decrease the receipts of the following funds to include unbudgeted receipts from revenues. We don't have a figure on it because we're still getting that together, but that will be gotten and supplied to you, Madam Clerk. And Section 2, the amounts adjusting the receipt and expenditure accounts in Section 1 are for governmental purposes. This is an emergency amendment so that we can close out the fiscal year of 2015-2016.
That will fall under the emergency ordinance that we used resolution that we did for the budget.
You're correct. We've done a resolution of emergency, and that would fall under that resolution.
Do you have anything else?
We still do second.
Just need to do that one with.
And that would be since
First
it
and
is an
second.
emergency, Judge, that would be a first and second reading of the budget amendment. It would require a motion, a second, and a majority vote.
Need a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Second. Roll call, please.
Master Anderson.
Yes.
Master Johnson. Master Murphy.
Yes.
Master Robinson. Master Dodson.
Yes.
Master Barney.
Yes.
Judge Deskin.
Yes.
Authorize any necessary transfers and interfund transfers to finish out the fiscal year. Shouldn't be any, but in case there's an issue, just make sure and covering that we have any necessary transfers and interfund transfers.
Roll call, please.
Master Anderson.
Yes.
Master Johnson.
Yes.
Master Murphy.
Yes.
Master Robinson. Master Dodson.
Yes.
Master Barney.
Yes.
Judge Deskins.
Yes.
Is there anything else that you can think? I don't think we have anything else other than to pay that gas line, which will go into next fiscal year. Oh, I need authorization from the court to contact the banks and ask for interest rates concerning borrowing money, which we will not make any decision on.
We've already done that, John.
Okay.
We've already approved that.
Did we did we cancel the July 5th meeting then? That is canceled, right?
I have no further business then.
I thought July 5th was canceled.
July 5th is canceled.
Brian Johnson at the golf course. His name never was removed from the budget, was it?
Yeah.
His name was removed?
Yeah, that's why I said that. Was he still employed, that I would probably have to have, we don't necessarily have to have it on the 5th, but I'll need one to transfer money into the line item to pay him before 2 weeks is up. By the 13th, 12th or 13th, we'll have to have one. Well, by virtue of not funding the course, it sort of took care of itself.
Then we'll have to have a special meeting before, what, the 13th?
Mm-hmm.
You'll probably need one by that time anyway.
The 11th or 12th,
You'll have
probably
your,
the 11th would be better for Leo, wouldn't it? On a Monday. Okay.
you should have your financial information by that time too, to report to the court.
Can we take care of that now, and that way there wouldn't be or is that the only thing we need in that meeting?
What would we do in a meeting? Can I bind between fiscal year authorization to do transfers starting tomorrow in this fiscal year for next fiscal year?
Yes, you may, but now you need to ask John Doe.
Well, if they gave you permission to go ahead and solicit.
Okay, let's just go ahead and do an authorization to allow me to do whatever transfers are needed to make sure the payroll goes out in 2 weeks to alleviate having another fiscal court meeting since the one on the 5th has been canceled.
And then if you check it and we have to have it, we'll go ahead and schedule another.
Okay. Because that'd be about the only one we didn't have money for.
Yeah, I got a motion. Who did the second?
Need a motion. Need a motion in a second. Oh, okay. Roll call, please.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson? Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson? Mr. Dodson?
No.
Mr. Barney?
Yes.
Judge Deskins?
Yes. All right.
That's right. Yeah.
We're down to the commissioners and directors. Jackie Darrell?
I got a little bit to say today on Mother Nature's really put it on District 5 pretty heavy. We had Open Fork and Bear Branch got about washed off about a couple weeks ago, and the road crew has done an excellent job up there on that. Then it started again last week on Thursday as came back from looking at some stuff over in Blackberry. One of the workers, Chris Stump, came and said we got Bones Branch washed off again. And it had washed off about a week before that. This dam had broke up there. And the little dam caught a bunch up. This time the little dam was so full it couldn't catch nothing, and Bones Branch really got hammered badly. There was water on the road and people's yards. And the boys stayed out that night to 4 o'clock working. And, you know, these guys don't complain or nothing. They stay out there and take care of the job. And then I got a hold of the coal companies, not the coal company, but the State Department, called them at the federal Friday. But there's a state deal. And they got all the coal company, got the coal company in there to take care of the expenses. And where the drains is stopped up, we could tear them out, but we can't legally put them back in, so the coal company can. So they're up there replacing a whole bunch of drains and putting them in, and we let them handle it. They come in Saturday and work Sunday, and they're still working today. And so they took over the watershed of Bones Branch, the state inspector told me. And then we had some problems up in AIDS Branch. Went up there and worked on that, and I'm just lucky. I went over the road where a drain had washed out under it, and going up there, I took my truck, pushed some logs out of the way. But I come back out of the holler and told Chris Stump he need to take the backhoe up there and push it off. But when he got up there, he couldn't get by. The road fell in, so I was very fortunate it fell in behind me. And then we had Monday on Camp Creek. We had Camp Creek just about washed off, and the roads was terrible up there. Water in the roads, trees down, power lines down. Same thing in Harrison Creek of that area. And so Mother Nature just put it on us. And I got Kevin Prater to move an excavator on over there, and kind of lucky he did that. But and I'm going to give him a thank you because, you know, I didn't ask him how much it cost, and him asked me that, and he told me he's going to charge nothing. So I want to thank Kevin Prater for helping us out in this situation, and thank the road crew for being so uncomplaining and unselfish and going out there and take care of the job.
All right. You have any comments? You? Lisa? No? All
Judge,
right.
one last thing before we move on. I need to announce that Miss Melissa, I think I got her last name right, Downing, sorry. Melissa Downing's volunteering her time tomorrow to open Phelps Senior Citizen Center, probably along with Mary Lyons. All they'll be able to do is brown bag tomorrow. They can't cook, but she's volunteering her time to open the center tomorrow. I wanted to announce that.
Yep.
Next on this county attorney's report.
County attorney's report.
I don't have anything, Judge.
Thank you.
And Judge, one more thing, and I promise I'm going to hush. Rhonda Taylor, our clerk, is back there. I didn't see her. She's kind of hidden by the people. You need to say anything, Rhonda? Okay, just wanted to announce that she's here, and she's been here, I think, the whole meeting, hasn't she? Okay. I just wanted to announce Rhonda you was here. We appreciate you being here.
Brian, I'd like to say something, you know, if we have got money that we can spare. She's went through a rough budget. She had to lay off 10 people out of 22, I believe, wasn't it, Rhonda? 11 people out of 22? 11 out of 24. She's lost half of her workforce. She's had to close down her branch offices, except for 1 day a week. And if we have got money that we can help her get these offices back open, and I know the people will have a lot harder time coming to Pikeville than they are at their branch offices. And it seems like we can find money when we need it, so if we can find something to help her, then I would like to see us do that.
No, yes, I do. Hillman, you want to talk about that trailer at Frankfurt?
Well, you know, we stopped today. We had a meeting in Louisville. So me and the judge stopped today and looked at that Landau trailer that the state has at their lot for sale. And we tried to get them down from $20,000. That was their price that they quoted to the judge, and they wouldn't come any lower. And he told us that the trailer was in use. It had passed the safety inspection. Is that what he said, Judge? And if we wanted it for $20,000, it was there. And it was a 2007?
2008.
2008. And right now, as Jackie just said, we don't have any way to haul our equipment. It's at a standstill. If they tram it, they say it'll burn the motors up and the planetaries in the wheels, and they won't be able to repair it. It's hard on the transmission, but it's up to the court what they want to do. It's down there, and a new one is about $65,000. So we didn't have any money to buy one, and I guess that's the reason I just been so upset today over spending money in here and there, and then we don't have money to run our road equipment. And I'm sorry if I offended anybody, but I just said what was on my mind. Thank you, Judge.
Well, I think we need to make a motion to buy that trailer because we don't have no trailer at all now to move equipment from wherever to wherever. So I'll make the motion that we need to buy that trailer. I need a second.
Judge, could you make your motion that since it's $20,000 and not on a state contract price, it would normally have to be bid, but if you would make your motion that we buy it on an emergency basis, because we've got no way to transport our heavy equipment around the county as we need to do. We've seen that, what Jackie Darrell just mentioned, getting Kevin Prater to move equipment for us, and I think that qualifies as an emergency. So if you could move that we purchase it on an emergency basis. Frankie, what do you think?
I'll make the motion. Do I need a second? Roll call, please.
Mr. Anderson. Mr. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Murphy.
Yes.
Mr. Robinson. Mr. Dodson.
Yes.
Mr. Varney.
Yes.
Judge Deskins.
Yes.
6 ways.
Yep. Well, that's the end of my comments. I need a motion for adjournment.
Motion.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Anderson. Mr. Johnson. Mr. Murphy. Mr. Kenneth. Mr. Robinson.
I don't know, Judge, if I mentioned there ago, but that was 4 o'clock in the morning when we worked too. An AM. Did I get AM?
You can keep talking, Jackie Darrell, but we've already done. But go ahead.